more even skin tones. Okay, then I can cut down a highlight if I do that. So a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know if this is possible. It may not be possible. Okay, oh, perfect, okay. Right there's perfect. So I can cut down the highlight. Good. And little, I don't know, you're a little short. Can we make it a little, can you stand on Kate's side a little? Yeah, oh no, you're okay. And I'm gonna see your hand. Yeah, good, perfect right there. And let's see if I can get a little more light in. Hold on. There you go, right there. Perfect. And let me open up just a little bit more. Good, right there. Perfect, okay. So, you can take it from simple. So I'm gonna break that down one more time and then we're going to do a different setup. So what I would do is I'd come to the scene and say, okay, if it's the middle of the day and I can diffuse it, that's going to be great. If I can't, at least turn her around so that her her face is away from the sun, the back of her head's lit by the sun. If you have nice fill, that'll be pretty good, but you're still gonna have blown out highlights. So what I wanna do is I might wanna underexpose a little bit, but then her face will be too dark. I have the highlights now within range, not overexposed, but her face will be too dark, so I've got to go ahead and pump some light into the shadows. So I'll grab a reflector. Silver or white. White's going to be more flattering, it's a little softer, less contrast, but if it's not strong enough, I'll switch to silver. Making sure that it's not catching the full power of the silver, that's going to be too much contrast, but instead making sure I'm using the edge, we're feathering it. If I have extra hands or if it's a bigger production, what I would do is I'd compress the scene further by diffusing the highlight, which brings it down, grabbing a reflector and bouncing light in, which brings the shadows up. So fundamentally, it's called compressing the exposure so that everything can be exposed even if you don't have huge dynamic range on your camera. So that would be one approach I might take. But you can also use off-camera flash to do the same thing. You can build up those shadows instead using a flash. There's a bunch of different modifiers that I recommend, but what you want to keep in mind is that generally bare bulb doesn't work so well, so just your speed light. Because we talked about before, especially with dark skin tones, if you're using a contrasty light source, it is going to be too bright in the highlights, too dark in the shadows. So you want some type of modifier added onto your flash to make it a little bit softer. So there's a couple that that you might consider. One of them is if you're a one-man show, one-person show, is a Rogue flash bender because it's lightweight, it's easy, and it doesn't require a lot of setup. So I'm just gonna grab this to put my camera on. Okay.
It's a little heavy for this flash. I'll hold it.
Okay, no, I can just take it off of the stand. Okay. All right, so we're in a little bit of wind, but it's not too bad. So this would be the Rogue flash bender, and what it does is it takes your bare strobe, it makes it bigger, and it makes it more diffused, which are things that we like for skin tones. We don't want to have just that contrasty strobe. So it's really nice, it's very flexible, it's easy to set up, and you can hold it off camera if you have a setup, so I could just hold it here and shoot. Or you can put it on a stand and move it around. I like it because it takes up a lot less footprint than having a softbox on location or other large modifier. So you can hold it perfect. Thank you. Thank you, we'll get that out of the way. All right, take a look at how we're doing here. Looks great. Okay, so same thing. If I'm not going to diffuse out the highlights on her, I'll at least turn her away from the sun. So face me a little bit. Good, and I still have got that bright highlight. That's all right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in strobe.
Need a controller.
Oh, controller would be good, right?
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Kate. All right. So this takes us to another important situation, or another important thing, is I could teach a whole class about this, and maybe secretly I am. Okay. Maybe. Anyway, is using speed lights on location. And I run into a problem